Hey Flo here. I completely blasted out the door. I was out and about and saw that the sun looked cool. I already missed the cool sun that I saw, and the sunset's like happening now. So I don't know if it'll look cool anymore. I mean, it looks nice. It feel like I missed probably the best part, but anyway, I couldn't resist trying to get out fast enough to see this. I don't have all my normal gear, and this won't be a live stream because I didn't have time to set up all the platforms, so I'll just upload this later maybe. I'm super behind on uploading stuff. Been working on a bunch more projects and stupid things. I have an entirely new audio app that I made. It's silly, but anyway, it's what I am doing lately. I don't know why exactly, but alright, and I'll talk more about that later. I might live stream tonight actually when I get home. We'll see. But I wanted to get this reading in before everything's over. Oh wow, there's some we might see something pretty cool. I see some crazy looking colors there. I might even try to get a picture. I don't have my good camera, unfortunately. Where's the camera app even? I don't ever use this phone. This is not going to show up that well, but wow, that looks really cool actually. I don't think that's going to translate what I'm seeing to the video, but it looks really nice. There's like this weird rainbow effect around where the sun is setting. Anyway, so let's see. I didn't quite finish the last reading the last time I was out because I ran out of time. So I'm gonna do a makeup recording. Try to finish this reading. It's got 3 chapters. Should be able to finish it off. Got 2 Kings chapters 3 and 4. And Romans chapter 10. Second Kings chapter 3. In the 18th year of Jehoshaphat's reign over Judah, Jehoram son of Ahab became king of Israel, and he reigned in Samaria 12 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as his father and mother had done. He removed the sacred pillar of Baal that his father had made. Nevertheless, he clung to the sins that Jeroboam son of Nebat had caused Israel to commit. He did not turn away from them. Now Mesha, king of Moab, was a sheep breeder, and he would render to the king of Israel 100,000 lambs and the wool of 100,000 rams. But after the death of Ahab, the king of Moab rebelled against the king of Israel. So at that time King Jehoram set out from Samaria and mobilized all Israel. And he sent a message to Jehoshaphat, king of Judah. The king of Moab has rebelled against me. Will you go out with me to fight against Moab? I will go, replied Jehoshaphat. I am like you. My people are your people, and my horses are your horses. Then he asked, Which way shall we go up? By the way of the desert of Edom, replied Joram. So the king of Israel, the king of Judah, and the king of Edom set out, and after they had traveled a roundabout route for 7 days, they had no water for their army or for their animals. Alas, said the king of Israel, for the Lord has summoned these 3 kings to deliver them into the hand of Moab. But Jehoshaphat asked, Is there no prophet of the Lord here? Let us inquire of the Lord through him. And one of the servants of the king of Israel answered, Elisha, son of Shaphat, is here. He used to pour water on the hands of Elijah. Jehoshaphat affirmed, The word of the Lord is with him. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat and the king of Edom went down to him. Elisha, however, said to the king of Israel, What have we to do with each other? Go to the prophets of your father and of your mother. No, replied the king of Israel, for it is the Lord who has summoned these 3 kings to deliver them into the hand of Moab. Then Elisha said, As surely as the Lord of hosts lives, before whom I stand, were it not for Were it not for my regard for the presence of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, I would not look at you or acknowledge you. But now bring me a harpist. And while the harpist played, the hand of the Lord came upon Elisha, and he said, This is what the Lord says, Dig this valley full of ditches. For the Lord says, You will not see wind or rain, but the valley will be filled with water, and you will drink, you and your cattle and your animals. This is a simple matter in the sight of the Lord, and he will also deliver the Moabites into your hand. And you shall attack every fortified city and every city of importance. You shall cut down every good tree, stop up every spring, and ruin every good field with stones. The next morning, at the time of the morning sacrifice, water suddenly flowed from the direction of Edom and filled the land. Now all the Moabites had heard that the kings had come up to fight against them. So all who could bear arms, young and old, were summoned and stationed at the border. When they got up early in the morning, the sun was shining on the water, and it looked as red as blood to the Moabites across the way. This is blood, they exclaimed. The kings have clashed swords and slaughtered one another. Now to the plunder, Moab. But when the Moabites came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and attacked them, and they fled before them. So the Israelites invaded their land and struck down the Moabites. They destroyed the cities, and each man threw stones on every good field until it was covered. They stopped up every spring and cut down every good tree. Only Kir-Hareseth was left with stones in place, but men with slings surrounded it and attacked it as well. When the king of Moab saw that the battle was too fierce for him, he took with him 700 swordsmen to break through to the king of Edom, but they could not prevail. So he took his firstborn son, who was to succeed him, and offered him as a burnt offering on the city wall. And there was great fury against the Israelites, so they withdrew and returned to their own land. All right. Yeah, there's just, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's not actually a spectrum or rainbow, it's more like just the red colors of a sunset, but there's also the blue, so it's kind of like a mini spectrum of red to blue down there in the corner. Very subtle, but has a nice look to it. I don't think we're going to get like an extremely vibrant sunset. Maybe over there to the left where those clouds are showing through, possibly a little bit. But primarily this dark, thick cloud will probably block the best of it. I'm still glad I got out though. I just felt inspired I literally ran. I'm like out of breath. I just like ran into the house, grabbed my camera gear, and just sped a little bit to get out here. It's kind of crazy. I knew my time was limited. I wish I would have left about an hour ago, because a little while ago the sun looked amazing. It looks like we might get some colors down there. It's getting more colorful every minute. I'll make sure I'm actually showing that section of the sky, because I don't remember what angle I chose. Yeah. It's not like very dynamic looking in the camera over here, but that's fine. It's definitely more colorful than that makes it look. Whew. 2 Kings chapter 4. Now the wife of one of the sons of the prophets cried out to Elisha, "Your servant, my husband, is dead, and you know that your servant feared the Lord. And now his creditor is coming to take my 2 children as his slaves. How can I help you?" asked Elijah. "How can I help you?" asked Elisha. "Tell me, what do you have in the house?" She answered, "Your servant has nothing in the house but a jar of oil." "Go," said Elisha, "borrow jars, even empty ones, for all your neighbors." "Go," said Elisha, "borrow jars, even empty ones, from all your neighbors. Do not gather just a few. Then go inside, shut the door behind you and your sons, and pour oil into all these jars, setting the full ones aside." So she left him, and after she had shut the door behind her and her sons, they kept bringing jars to her, and she kept pouring. When all the jars were full, she said to her son, "Bring me another." But he replied, "There are no more jars." Then the oil stopped flowing. She went and told the man of God, and he said, "Go, sell the oil and pay your debt. Then you and your sons can live on the remainder." One day Elisha went to Shunem, and a prominent woman who lived there persuaded him to have a meal. So whenever he would pass by, he would stop there to eat. Then the woman said to her husband, "Behold, now I know that the one who often comes our way is a holy man of God. Please let us make a small room upstairs and put in it a bed, a table, a chair, and a lamp for him. Then when he comes to us, he can stay there." One day Elisha came to visit and went to his upper room to lie down. And he said to Gehazi his servant, "Call the Shunammite woman." And when he had called her, she stood before him. And Elisha said to Gehazi, let's fix that, I think it's Gehazi. And he said to Gehazi his servant, "Call the Shunammite woman." And when he had called her, she stood before him. And Elisha said to Gehazi, "Now tell her, 'Look, you have gone to all this trouble for us. What can we do for you? Can we speak on your behalf to the king or the commander of the army?" "I have a home among my own people," she replied. So he asked, "Then what should be done for her?" "Well, she has no son," Gehazi replied. So he asked, "Then what should be done for her?" "Well, she has no son," Gehazi replied, "and her husband is old." "Call her," said Elisha. So Gehazi called her, and she stood in the doorway. And Elisha declared, "At this time next year you will hold a son in your arms." "No, my lord," she said, "do not lie to your maidservant, O man of God." But the woman did conceive, and at that time the next year she gave birth to a son, just as Elisha had told her. And the child grew, and one day he went out to his father, who was with the harvesters. My head," he complained to his father. So his father told a servant, "Carry him to his mother." After the servant had picked him up and carried him to his mother, the boy sat on her lap until noon, and then he died. And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God. Then she shut the door and went out. And the woman called her husband and said, "Please send me one of the servants and one of the donkeys, that I may go quickly to the man of God and return." "Why should you go to him today?" he replied. "It is not a new moon or a Sabbath." "Everything is all right," she said. Then she saddled the donkey and told her servant, "Drive onward. Do not slow the pace for me unless I tell you." So she set out and went to the man of God at Mount Carmel. When the man of God saw her at a distance, he said to his servant Gehazi, "Look, there is the Shunammite woman. Please run out now to meet her and ask, 'Are you all right? Is your husband all right? Is your child all right?'" And she answered, "Everything is all right." When she reached the man of God at the mountain, she clung to his feet. Gehazi came over to push her away, but the man of God don't know why the story's getting to me today. And I was reading some amazing scripture earlier that was kind of just blowing me away. Let's see if I can get through this. When she reached the man of God at the mountain, she clung to his feet. Gehazi came over to push her away, but the man of God said, "Leave her alone, for her soul is in deep distress." Leave her alone, for her soul is in deep distress, and the Lord has hidden it from me. And the Lord has hidden it from me and has not told me. Then she said, "Did I ask you for a son, my Lord? Didn't I say, 'Do not deceive me'?" So Elisha said to Gehazi, Whew, okay. So Elisha said to Gehazi, "Tie up your garment, take my staff in your hand, and go. If you meet anyone, do not greet him, and if anyone greets you, do not answer him. Then lay my staff on the boy's face." And the mother of the boy said, "As surely as the Lord lives, and as you yourself live, I will not leave you." So he got up and followed her. Gehazi went on ahead of them and laid the staff on the boy's face, but there was no sound or response. So he went back to meet Elisha and told him, "The boy has not awakened." When Elisha reached the house, there was the boy lying dead on his bed. So he went in, closed the door behind the two of them, and prayed to the Lord. Then Elisha got on the bed and lay on the boy, mouth to mouth, eye to eye, and hand to hand. As he stretched himself out over him, the boy's body became warm. Elisha turned away and paced back and forth across the room. Then he got on the bed and stretched himself out over the boy again, and the boy sneezed 7 times and opened his eyes. Elisha summoned Gehazi and said, "Call the Shunammite woman." So he called her, and she came. Then Elisha said, "Pick up your son." She came in, fell at his feet, and bowed to the ground. Then she picked up her son and went out. When Elisha returned to Gilgal, there was a famine in the land. As the sons of the prophets were sitting at his feet, he said to his attendant, "Put on the large pot and boil some stew for the sons of the prophets." One of them went out to the field to gather herbs. Then he found a wild vine from which he gathered as many wild gourds as his garment could hold. And he found a wild vine from which he gathered as many wild gourds as his garment could hold. Then he came back and cut them up into Then he came back and cut them up into the pot of stew, though no one knew what they were. I can't talk. Then he came back and cut them up into the pot of stew, though no one knew what they were. And they poured it out for the men to eat. But when they tasted the stew, they cried out, "There is death in the pot, O man of God," and they could not eat it. Then Elisha said, "Get some flour." He threw it into the pot and said, "Pour it out for the people to eat." And there was nothing harmful in the pot. Now a man from Baal Shalishah came to the man of God with a sack of 20 loaves of barley bread from the first ripe grain. "Give it to the people to eat," said Elisha. But his servant asked, "How am I to set 20 loaves before 100 men?" "Give it to the people to eat," said Elisha, "for this is what the Lord says. They will eat and have some left over." So he set it before them, and they ate and had some left over, according to the word of the Lord. Oh wow, I hadn't turned around yet. I wonder if that shows up nicely in this camera. Not bad. Colors aren't super accurate, but let's see if we can change the white balance. I'm never really happy with how these things look, but it's nice. This camera, my second phone, it has decent color science, but the lens quality is pretty trash, so I won't be very happy with those photos. Oh, wow, that's way more color than I expected. I didn't think it would get through that cloud. Anyway, this is cool. It's been a while since I've read about Elijah and Elisha. Yeah, it's cool. There's so many parallels between him and Jesus, just the miracles that he did during his ministry and what Jesus did. It's obvious that the same power is in him and that God was using that to foreshadow Christ. It's interesting in a way because Elisha almost did things that are more related or foreshadowing Christ than Elijah did, yet for some reason Elijah is considered greater in most regards. I think Elisha did more miracles, even though he was just the servant of Elijah, because he had the faith to ask for a double portion of the Spirit. And so because of his faith, I suppose God allowed him to do many things. But Elijah is kind of the one that's always talked about, and Elisha is somewhat forgotten. Like it was Elijah and Moses, I believe that, it wasn't Isaiah, was it? I think it was Elijah and Moses that Jesus met on the Mount of Transfiguration, and then Elijah was prophesied to come first before Christ, in the sense that I don't really understand the whole John the Baptist thing, but there is something weird about John the Baptist. Like, it's not like he was Elijah reincarnated, but he had something very strongly connected with Elijah. I mean, the prophecies say that Elijah would come first, and then it ended up being John the Baptist. He also roamed around in the wilderness, was a hairy man with kind of crazy clothing, and that describes both Elijah and John the Baptist. I don't know, it's weird. Wow, it is very, I'm really glad I came out. I didn't expect this much color. That's awesome. It's too bad it doesn't kind of shine on those other clouds over there, but I mean, can't complain, right? All right, let's do one more chapter before it's over. And then when Jesus talks about John the Baptist, he refers to him in a sense as Elijah. Like the disciples say, why did the prophets say that Elijah must come first? And then Jesus is like, but he did come first, and they did with him everything that they pleased and what was foretold. And and then the disciples realized he was talking about John the Baptist, which that must have been confusing even to them. They must have been like, wait, what? Isn't he your cousin? Isn't he John? Like, I don't know. They were probably, I don't know if anyone really understands that fully, but anyway, I'm enjoying this reading. I don't know why I'm so emotional. Oh, cool. Get a little bit of color down in the horizon there. This is cool. I like it. All right, let's finish this reading. Romans chapter... Oh, let me give it a little bit bigger pause there. Romans chapter 10. Brothers, my heart's desire and prayer to God for the Israelites is for their salvation. For I testify about them that they are zealous for God, but not on the basis of knowledge. Because they were ignorant of God's righteousness and sought to establish their own, they did not submit to God's righteousness. For Christ is the end of the law, to bring righteousness to everyone who believes. For concerning the righteousness that is by the law, Moses writes, "The man who does these things will live by them." But the righteousness that is by faith says, "Do not say in your heart, 'Who will ascend into heaven?' that is, to bring Christ down. Or, 'Who will descend into the abyss?' that is, to bring Christ up from the dead. But what does it say? The word is near you. It is in your mouth and in your heart. That is, the word of faith we are proclaiming. That if you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For with your heart you believe and are justified, and with your mouth you confess and are saved. It is just as the Scripture says, anyone who believes in him will never be put to shame. For there is no difference between Jew and Greek. The same Lord is Lord of all, and gives richly to all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. How then can they call on the one in whom they have not believed? And how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone to preach? And how can they preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news. But not all of them welcomed the good news. For Isaiah says, Lord, who has believed our message? Consequently, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of Christ. But I ask, did they not hear? Indeed they did. Their voice has gone out into all the earth, their words to the ends of the world. I ask instead, did Israel not understand? First, Moses says, I will make you jealous by those who are not a nation. I will make you angry by a nation without understanding. And Isaiah boldly says, I was found by those who did not seek me. I revealed myself to those who did not ask for me. But as for Israel, he says, all day long I have held out my hands to a disobedient and obstinate people. Nice. I think the biggest range of color is probably over, but it's getting like more darker, vibrant colors. But as far as how far it's spread across the sky, I think we've probably seen the biggest effect. So I was thinking that if I had even more time, like definitely had I gotten out here earlier, I probably would have tried to do a second reading, but I don't think I will now. It's kind of Kind of getting too late. It'll get pretty dark quick here. This this phone has a 2x zoom, but I don't know, it feels like a digital zoom because it looks kind of like junk when I use it. It's supposedly a separate lens, so it shouldn't look that terrible, but it is. It's kind of junk. I didn't even think to grab my camera on the way out. I should have. That's pretty epic. It almost just looks like a fire behind those trees down below. Maybe I can zoom in. Since I think I'm probably done with reading, maybe I can try to zoom in a little bit here. Those colors are not even close to doing it justice. That's a little better. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Except, as usual, there's never really yellow in the sky. Cameras tend to gravitate toward the primaries. So like yellow, red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, it just like pushes everything to those. It's really annoying. It's actually more of a salmon color down in the bottom in reality. But that's the best I can do with what I've got here. There's a cell tower over there. That's how I'm sometimes able to stream in these areas. Just have those random cell towers. That's pretty awesome. I can't tell if it's using my separate lens, zoom telephoto, or if it's digital zoom. Hopefully it's using the actual lens. I'll find out when I get home and look at it. Anyway, I'm super glad I got out because it's very beautiful. I have my gimbal, but I didn't set it up because I just wanted to make sure to not miss everything. That right there would make a nice photo with a better camera. And that too looks almost like something you would see in Africa with those trees. Anyway, we got to see a really nice sunset. Finish off, I think I just finished off a week's worth of reading that I was just barely, had just a little bit left. That right there, that's probably right about there where I'd frame it if I was taking a photo. That purple down below behind the tree is pretty cool too. But yeah, I'm glad I decided to head out. Whenever I do the hold to focus thing, it does the white balance. Let me see if I can turn that off. There we go. So I can do lock the exposure, but not the white balance. All right, well, thanks for joining me. I'll try to get this uploaded tonight. I still have several videos that I need to upload, and part of the reason I was so distracted with the making vibe code projects, which I might show on a live stream tonight, is because I wanted to have a better way to edit the audio. And I don't know, I should just use the tools that I have rather than continually trying to code new things, but I don't know. It's a phase that I'm going through. I think I'll eventually probably have AI fatigue and just be like, just skip all this and stop wasting time with it. But I try to embrace and spend time with the things that just keep my brain stimulated and somewhat activated or encouraged, because I just feel so, I don't know, like I'm wasting away these days. And so I see it as somewhat of a positive thing in that sense, but otherwise I don't want to get too wrapped up in it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the sunset with me. I certainly did. It's way nicer than I expected. I wish I would have gotten out an hour earlier though, because the sun had these huge painted like looking clouds in front of it before the sunset, and I was hoping to fly out here to capture that, but it was too late at that point. But anyway, we'll head home and might start a live stream and edit this video, or I might just get this uploaded first and then edit some others that need to be edited. This one shouldn't need any editing other than audio dubbing. I like to get the highest quality. Okay, I'm just talking tech. I'll shut up. I'll catch you guys later.